Over the years, I've seen organic inbound interest of use cases of choosing digital assets as a preferred ecosystem for payments and transactions in multiple continents, multiple languages, multiple geographies, and across socioeconomic status backgrounds. It is an emergent phenomenon like the internet. This is not something to ignore or set aside. You don't want to be the Blockbuster to the Netflix, right? And that is taking place in every industry. And the fact that AI permeates every industry is something you need to pay attention to, this combination of digital assets, cryptocurrencies paired with AI, because it will fundamentally change many of the business models that you're used to. And those agents will not want to use a banking system that maybe require 3 to 5 days for clearing, right? The agents will want to work at the speed within which they can transfer information, which is the blockchain, digital assets, sort of rails that are being built in real time.
Hey, what's going on, family and friends? Just after the Beyond Broke Mastermind meetup in Nashville, I had the chance to interview Mangrove's co-founder and president, David Buttrey, for a conversation on culture, crypto, AI, and the speed of change reshaping the financial world right in front of us. Now, before we get into this interview, here's why David Buttrey matters. He's the co-founder and president of Mangrove, and one of the key voices thinking deeply about how artificial intelligence, digital assets, and financial systems are colliding at scale. David brings a big picture perspective to the conversation, from institutional adoption and emerging transaction rails to the way agentic AI may transform the way people, businesses, and even global markets operate. He doesn't just understand technology, he understands culture, timing, and what it takes to help people navigate this transformational change. So when David shares his perspective on adoption, regulation, AI agents, and the broader shift from traditional financial systems into digital-first infrastructure, you're hearing from someone who's not just observing the transition, but helping build around it in real time. So let's dive into this exclusive interview with David Buttrey, co-founder and president of Mangrove, who is the sponsor of today's episode. Be sure to check out their website at mangrove.ai for responsible automated trading strategies. Or better yet, scan the QR code on the screen and tell them that Ray Fuentes sent you. Thanks for tuning in. Love you mucho. What's going on, family and friends? We're here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've got the co-founder and president of Mangrove, David Buttrey, who is not only the right man at the helm for Mangrove, but also a very interesting man that understands culture, recognizes transformative change, especially at the intersection of finance and AI, which you guys are building wonderful tools at Mangrove. But I'd like to take advantage of this moment, Dave, because you've been in this space for quite some time. What are you noticing at the helm of Mangrove on the perspective of change in crypto and finance?
You know, what started as a slow burn of a smaller set of very focused industry-specific individuals has reached the next set of adoption in terms of the sort of, curious casual user. And we're now entering the much more broad mass market exposure of digital assets because of especially this year, the level of institutional adoption. And so although maybe say price for a variety of specific currencies have been down off peak this past year, institutional adoption is 10, 20, 30% growth this past year, which is really a sign of systemic change. And that paired with the growth rate of AI, that is the sort of supersonic tsunami combination of the speed, scale, and scope of change. And people will begin to have agents working on behalf of them to make decisions with authority execution, transfer of payments associated with that. And those agents will not want to use a banking system that maybe require 3 to 5 days for clearing, right? The agents will want to work at the speed within which they can transfer information, which is the blockchain, digital assets, sort of rails that are being built in real time. So it's really it's a time and unlike any other in history where the scope of technological change is so interlaced with the financial system, which affects everyone, whether you're paying attention or not. So our real goal is to educate, provide better tools, safer tools for people to personally get exposure to this space, as well as allowing finance professionals to participate with themselves and also their clients using a more holistic AI-based toolkit.
Yeah. Well, we just saw the SEC announced that specific assets within this ecosystem are now deemed as commodities. I feel it's a little old news for some of us that have been in the space for a little while, but it's great to see that the regulators have officially signed off on the things that we've been honed in on for quite some time. What do you think that the landscape looks like as we roll out these sound regulations, albeit the Clarity Act, now that the genius has been passed, creating a framework for the stablecoins? I did an interview last night at the Beyond Broke meetup after party where a gentleman mentioned that look at it as the Genius Act was almost like creating regulations for the cell phones, and then the Clarity provides regulations for the towers. He used that analogy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think first allowing the base use case, but then allowing clear rules of the road on top of the base use case, and really understanding jurisdiction allows a lot more clarity for business operators and for retail, for like consumer protection services to better understand, like, what is the right way to build something where you won't trip compliance at the state, local or federal level or international level. Because this is an issue too for even at the US federal level. If a digital asset that's a commodity is transferred using servers or making payments to businesses in multiple continents, who has jurisdiction over that transaction? And so it's a great forcing function to think of these issues and stay ahead of these issues, to keep building these advanced technologies in the US and leaning into innovation as opposed to staying away from it just because you may not understand the technical side of things.
Yeah. Without naming any clients of mine, I've had to work with my banking provider, and they have a division within their ecosystem called Trust Division. The reason I think they are is maybe because some market participants we may be engaging with might already be leveraging some of these systems. What are your thoughts? How far advanced are we where companies are already using agentic models for transactional purposes, B2B?
I can't speak to any one particular company, especially if they're doing that in the private sector. But I would say, from people we've spoken to, conferences we've attended, market leaders we've engaged with, many businesses have been running these blockchain-based systems and exploring AI agentic-based decision systems in parallel to their existing system, without particularly having the need to advertise that, because they are trying to assess the risk in that space, and they want several years worth of trailing data to better understand what is the full risk profile of this technology. But what's so fascinating about AI is that evolution of change it's like the internet sort of growth era, but it's compressed like, by 10 times at least, or orders of magnitude compressed in terms of speed, scale, and scope. And so, it's really like we're in a new time for companies, individuals, and nation states to like think through how currency-based systems are leaning more into information-based systems, and then how do AI agents interact with these information-based protocols. So it's a really fascinating time, and we encourage everyone to educate themselves as best as possible. Speaking to people that are in the space and learning from others is the best option.
Fascinating times indeed. For those in the space that are, or for those in the audience that are on the cusp, still hesitant, where's a great base starting point for them to learn more about these disruptive models, especially what Mangrove AI is building?
Go to the Mangrove website, Coinbase. A lot of the market leaders have great education platforms, and also the Digital Asset for Financial Professionals group that's run by Rick Edelman is a really fantastic resource. Recommend everyone to go to their page. They actually have a certificate course you can take that will really provide a great framework for you, even as an individual that's not in the finance space, but just trying to understand how to best prepare your financial future.
Last question, closing comment before we take off, because I know you're a busy man. Nashville's a happening place. There's a music scene that you got to go in and participate in, because you are the man that has the eye for culture, community, and disruption. I was looking for another C word, but I'm not quick enough. What is your go-to hook or elevator pitch for those that aren't participating in the space yet, albeit crypto, that you would use or think that would be impactful for those in the audience?
Over the years, I've seen organic inbound interest of use cases of choosing digital assets as a preferred ecosystem for payments and transactions in multiple continents, multiple languages, multiple geographies, and across socioeconomic status backgrounds. It is an emergent phenomenon like the internet. This is not something to ignore or set aside. You don't want to be the Blockbuster to the Netflix, right? And that is taking place in every industry. And the fact that AI permeates every industry is something you need to pay attention to, this combination of digital assets, cryptocurrencies paired with AI, because it will fundamentally change many of the business models that you're used to.
Thanks to you and the team at Mangrove. For those in the audience that want to learn more about Mangrove, again, visit mangrove.ai. I'll be sure to copy all the links in the comments and descriptions below. Dave, thank you so much for sharing your time with me.
Absolutely.
Congrats
Thanks
to you
for
guys.
coming out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I should.
You had a good time last night.
Yeah. Well, I was.
Coffee today.
Yeah, in full transparency, my plane was a little late, but we still got the mission accomplished. We're still here, and I'm just really excited to have break bread and interview you and Tim, and just learn more about what you're building at Mangrove. Because as we've discussed, and I'm sure these guys have recognized watching, is you guys are at the helm of not only a great and regulatory compliant, conscious company, but at the helm of the bleeding edge of finance technology at the convergence of AI. So it's just, what a time to be alive. What a time to be to let your entrepreneurial spirit just flourish. It's just great. The creative minds, this is a wonderful place to activate and participate, and maybe even find a role at a disruptive company like Mangrove. But any closing comments?
Thanks for your time, and keep learning, and keep watching for digital assets. It's 2026 is the year of change.
The future of investing is brought to you by AI. Meet Mangrove, where machine learning meets market dominance. Mangrove's mission: empower every investor, retail or institutional, with tools to help you thrive and grow your accounts no matter how the market moves. Mangrove is purpose-built by a team of data scientists, quant strategists, and traders focused on real-world fundamentals empowered by real-time artificial intelligence. Their platform represents a shift in financial technology, taking the kind of predictive intelligence once reserved only for big banks and putting it into the hands of everyday investors. It's not just about access, it's about empowering regular people with smarter tools for real-time decision-making. In a world of noisy data and volatile markets, Mangrove doesn't just surface trends, it contextualizes them. By combining AI with macro fundamentals, it helps users filter the signal from the noise and navigate through market turbulence with conviction. Because alpha shouldn't be a secret, it should be smart. Join the future of finance. Scan the QR code on the screen and visit mangrove.ai today.